Hello again. Please help me welcome back up, or back, help me welcome writer-director Marina and Gorbach. Hi, Marina.
Hi. Can I ask to cut light a bit?
Can we get house lights maybe?
Yeah, to see people just.
So, when we get the lights up, if you have a question at any point, just raise your hand up high and I'll call on you.
Yeah, and I just want to thanks for sharing this movie. I know it's not easy watch at all. Many times in Ukraine, when I was screening the film, I was apologizing for the sound of the bombing because it's really reality now. But I promise too that my next movies will be more positive. I promise.
Marina, maybe you could start us off with just giving us a little bit of background as to when the film is set and the kind of the context around it.
So it's a story about 2014, as it's written in the beginning, and it was shocking event for us. This international air crash catastrophe. It's really event. It happened on 17 July 2014, and it's interesting, but it's a fact that it's also my birthday, and that's why I remember it very good. And my daughter was just 3 months, so I was with my sling in Ukraine. Suddenly, MH17 was crashed, and we were proposed to be evacuated from country because my husband is Turkish, so there was this mess. And I was thinking what's going on, and for sure this is a symbolical event for Europe to react. All that events which were not named actually, because probably it was for you also a discovery that there is a war in Ukraine since 2014, not just since February 2022. And in 2016, on 17th of July, I was following the media and international press, and I understood that somehow this crime, MH17, became like a memory day, but the criminals who did it, they were not named. And I remember that day I really scared that bigger war is coming because this crime, human crime, was ignored. And I decided to make a film because I didn't want to afraid. I wanted to make something.
And there's a dedication at the end that says it's dedicated to women. You said you had a 3-month-old baby when it happened? Did you always know that you were going to set it with a pregnant woman?
Yeah. Yes, it was very instinctive for me to put woman, because I know what is to be mother, and dedication to woman is dedication to the future. I always say that it's not a movie against men, it's a movie which somehow in this very dramatical situation want to leave open sentence for the future. I really want it.
I think it's very clear, she represents life, and she's among all this destruction, and she's still trying to live as normally as possible. With the stroller and all that. Any questions yet? Well, we should talk about Oksana, the lead actress.
Yeah.
Her performance is just devastating, and she goes through every single emotion. How did you? First, we can talk about the cast in general, but specifically her. How did you come to her?
Well, I always say that I smile my actors. I know it's funny answer, but it's really like that, because I was looking for the woman which will represent the variety, the colors, different colors of human instincts. And I wrote the script from the final scene, so I knew that this woman should be the body and the sense of the film. And I saw her in a theater performance. Klondike was for Oksana her first movie where she was a leading actress. She had before shorter. But you know, it's something about instinct of director to catch that spirit and that energy and all of that colors which actors can bring to the picture. And we started to work with her as with Irka to develop Irka with all her biography, relations with Tolik, with her parents. And it was very clear that this is my tiger woman.
Did the script change at all after she came on?
No, she matched really good, and we had also one teaser, 3.5 minutes. It was her casting actually, because for me it was a question, you know, what will change on her as a theater actress in the cinema? Can she make this millimeter actions? Because we were very focused to have really right mise-en-scène with this natural light and so on, and long takes. So she should be ready for the camera, and she performed really brilliantly. And she's very disciplined, and I love her as a person.
Question right in the middle?
What's the significance of the title of the movie, Klondike?
It's, you know, I'm shining to answer this instead. It's like each word can be wrong. We know in Ukraine, in post-Soviet countries, I would say that Klondike is a place in Canada of gold rush, and Donbass, this district about which we are telling the story, it's the richest black gold place in Ukraine. We name it black gold because it is full of coal, and it is a war not only because of imperialistical dreams, but also because of the richness of this land.
Back there, all the way.
Yes, I'm just wondering where she lives today and what has happened to the other actors and actresses in the movie and what is happening to the movie industry in Ukraine right now.
Should I repeat the question?
Sure. The question is about where do you live today? Where do the actors also live today? And what has happened since February this year in Ukraine?
Okay, Oksana Cherkashina Irka, she's living in Warsaw now, and her father and her family, they live in Kharkiv, and her father is responsible for electricity in Kharkiv. Sergei Shadrin, who is playing Tolik, and who was also, it was his first feature, he died, unfortunately, just half year after shooting. And we were very sad about that. It was health issues during coronavirus. They could not just manage hospital for him. Yarik, he is a professional actor, but he is now in Bakhmut, you know, the city, as a soldier. DOP, cinematographer and co-producer of the film, Svetoslav Bolakovsky, he is now in army too. All our lighting crew also in army. Our set hair designer was in Irpin, under occupation of Russian army in beginning of war. So it's tender question.
Marina, I want to talk a little bit about, so it's just cinematically, I know, you know, the subject matter is very deep, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. I mean, these long, beautiful takes. I imagine there was some sort of rehearsal because choreography seems very intricate. Can you talk a little bit about that aspect?
I was when I really afraid that this, you know, of course I could not say to myself in 2016 that full-scale invasion war is coming, but I felt that wrong things are happening, and I really started to afraid from the future. And I also started to search on psychology of catastrophe. So how the person who lived in catastrophe, who lived in war, what it make changes on our understanding of life, daily reactions, and all the film, these blocks, is actually divided by these three main instincts that some people are frozen, like heart attack. Sometimes you can feel, I hope you can feel that this kind of very slowly breathing is when people just cannot breathe during the tragical events, like they have these kind of things. And another reaction is when people start to run and they start to attack. So these three main instincts are representing in these blocks, and you can feel difference between rhythm from beginning of the movie to the end. It's become like faster and more tensioned. And this was the basic stuff, and that's why first I wrote the emotions of script, the emotions of the viewers, which I wanted them to get from the film, like 100 minutes of emotions, like shocking, surprising, not understanding, asking questions, what's going on, getting used, getting bored, and then suddenly, when everyone thinks that, okay, worst things happens, it's going to be okay, it is not. It's actually how people feel during catastrophe. And after this emotional line, I wrote events, how to bring my viewer by film, by scenes, to feel what I want them to feel, in my very subjective point of view, because it's not objective at all, it's very subjective.
Were the set pieces, the plain pieces, were they all real, or did you bring those in?
It's production, yes. The budget of the film is under $1 million.
The house with
I don't know why, but when we were screening in LA during Oscar campaign, it was the mostly asked question. To let you know.
And what about the house with the hole on the wall?
Yeah, it was for us very important to have border, because it's a film about crossing of borders, of country, of house, of life and death. And it is very symbolical border in Donbass. Donbass is like that, looks like that. So we found a window, and it was something around this window. It was not house, and we totally rebuilt. And it was very good because we were working during pandemic in 2020, and people were busy about so many stuff about their own life that we could just close ourselves in this small village, and we did everything what we wanted to make, like reconstruct, change floors, change roof, like it was a construction.
Did I see a hand up over here somewhere? No? Oh, back there.
I just wanted to comment about the layers of things that you did with the actress, from the nail polish that was starting to chip, and the hair color that was starting to grow out, and the orchid in the window, and all the things she was trying to do from the very smallest things. It's very emotional.
Thank you. And it's also very...
Can you repeat the question?
It was a comment on all of the small details that were happening. So like the chipping of the nail polish, the hair growing out the orchid, trying to keep things as normal as possible. And it was a comment on that, and she was gonna...
Yes, it's when full-scale invasion war started in Ukraine. Lots of that images suddenly appeared in media, pregnant women in Mariupol, and Ukrainian women who tried to clean their broken windows and so on. And it was, for me, not surprising at all, because I knew the characters. But somehow it's really very relevant now also. Thanks that you take it that close to yourself.
Marina, I know you touched a little bit on this, but so the film premiered at Sundance January 2022, and a month later, everything changed for Ukraine.
Yes, and in Berlinale also, on St. Valentine's Day, I was surprised by. Yeah.
How has that affected sort of the feelings around the film? Has it changed the way that it's been received, and also has it? Because I think it's been opened in Ukraine, right? It has
Yeah.
played in Ukraine. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it was absolutely unforgettable experience because Klondike entered Ukrainian cinemas on 24 of October, and on 10 of October, Kyiv was bombed by Iranian drones after a very long period when it was plus or minus silence there. And we didn't have light in cinema theaters, but lighting company gave us generators, and it was sold out. And during missiles attacks, people were asked, because it's like, ooh, you can hear this. There was someone who, they were stopping film, someone from the workers of cinema was coming in theater and saying, do you want to continue to watch film or you want to go to the shelter? And people were saying, we want to continue film. And they were rolling. It was like, and it also was very interesting that after the film, viewers was going and saying, like the viewers who are living now in Kyiv under these old drone attacks, they were going and saying why she didn't leave her house. You know?
Right.
Like she was in, like her position for them seems to be more dangerous than their position, but it's not.
Marina, where do you live now?
In Istanbul. I thought my husband is Turkish.
Any more questions? One final question, maybe from the audience? Okay. Oh, what?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.